This episode of the Old Boy Podcast, I learned a whole lot about a new sport that I had heard about but didn't know a whole bunch about, and that is slap. And the man that should teach us about slap is the Crazy Hawaiian. He has an amazing story of how he got into this and how it's really changed his life. You want to talk about a guy that is a ball of fun. You're going to want to follow him after you see this. I mean, he's just his story and his commitment to what he's doing. He's really gotten at the ground level of slap and been one of the pioneers really of the sport, and his passion for it and just the way he talks about it. It's really, really awesome. His energy is contagious. This is a good one. You guys are going to enjoy.
Man, you hear that? Look at here. They're coming. They're coming. We're going to have a party.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Old Boy Podcast, and do I have a hell of a discussion for you today. We are talking to a pioneer, true pioneer, and our current super heavyweight slap champion, my man, the Crazy Hawaiian, Layne Viernes. How are you, Layne?
I'm good. How are you, bro?
Good, man. I'm excited for this discussion. As we were talking just briefly before we got started, I'm one of those new millions of fans to Power Slap, and to have a guy like yourself on that was really a true pioneer in the sport is really, really cool, because everybody sees what it's turned into now with the backing of Dana and all that from UFC, and I feel like they kind of took everything they learned from that and have been able to apply it here, but so much that got behind that to really get to this point. So looking to really kind of get to know the man behind the belt, if you will. Yes, to kind of start off, one of the things I wanted to ask is, you're a big old boy. Were you an athlete coming up through playing any sports as a kid and through high school?
In Hawaii, football and boxing was kind of like, your parents didn't say, "Oh, you got to go do that." It was just kind of something that you either went and did, or you either got sticked on the field, or you got beat up, or something. If you didn't want to get beat up, or if there's a football at the beach, like you could not. You don't even need to know the person. I grew up. If you throw a football at somebody, you're about to get tackled. So, but growing up, I did start young. I did Pop Warner football, and I started very young, and I went up and I took a break. My parents separated when I was in like fourth grade, and I stopped playing football because of it. And my mom went her way, and my dad went his way, and going into high school, I actually because my dad was training me so much in football, I felt like, wow, I don't need to go to practice now. Wow, I don't need to go run now. I took advantage of that, and I took a big long break. And then my senior year, I just felt like, man, why didn't I play football? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I knew I was as good, if not better, than some of the guys on the field. I just, growing up and having your dad push you at a very young age, when you finally get a way out, you kind of enjoy it,
Yep.
And when I was a senior, it was literally the last day of tryouts, and my stepdad, he kind of sat me down and told me, hey, this is it. This you're not gonna have another chance. And I heard him, and I was like, damn, you know what? I'm gonna do it. So I tried out for the varsity team. I made it, and I played the whole season. And it stopped there, but I got a child at a very young age. Yep. And that's when I was like, you know what? I got to go to work. So the first thing I did was I went and I started paving. Like at 17 years old, paving and having all the old timers see, oh man, look at this big old Hawaiian kid, he's fresh out. and I was pretty much everyone's bitch. I was everyone's bitch for a few years,
Yep.
and that's how it was. I was a shovel boy. Um,
Oh, let me ask you this: how many days before you quit getting blisters on your feet from that hot ass pavement?
oh, it was the feet wasn't bad for me.
Mhm.
My feet wasn't bad. It was the swamp ass. It, it was
Yes.
it was being big,
And hey,
and
and hey, big guy to big guy, that first chafe's always bad, but that chafe on top of the chafe, bro, come on, no, save
it's
me.
it's the chafe, and then you get a lunch break, and then it's a whole nother section of chafing. It's
Yes.
crazy. Um, and I work with smaller guys too, and they had the same problem. So we all had our own little bag of cornstarch.
Yep. Yep.
We just put our hand in the cornstarch and you just throw it down there. That's
Yeah.
that's how it was.
Yeah,
But
and by the way, any of those swamp ass companies that are out there, me and the Crazy Hawaiian are available. Just get us the right product. We'll help you sell some of it. Come on.
I do actually have a product that I can speak of now
Oh,
today.
let's talk about it real quick. It
Yep,
seems like a
yep,
fitting time that we can
yep.
get back to construction.
It's called Happy Sack Nut Love Cooling Cream.
I like it. And the
Eh,
thing about that is a name of a product should say what it does. I know exactly what that product does.
it's provided by Derm Dude. Is one of my sponsors, but I believe in this product now more than ever. I'm the biggest I've been. You know, I'm not doing construction work no more, so I have a lot of time at home eating with the kids and the wife,
Hmm.
and I am on my bigger side, and it helps. I use it every day now. I actually when I have a flight, like I have to go, to the airport and walk
Hmm.
and all that. I make sure I carry one of those things with me just in case,
Hmm.
I forget to put it on before going to the airport. But for the big boys, even for the men that already have everything they could possibly want, you don't know what to get them, go and visit Derm Dude. That's where you got to go for the big boys.
I'll check it out, man. That,
Oh
that
yeah,
that sounds like a good product.
hell yeah, it is. It really is. Um,
Absolutely.
I choose it right now over cornstarch any day, any day. Derm dude, baby. Let's
Oh,
go.
let's go, baby. All right. So back, so you're cutting your teeth there in road construction. Guys are giving you, you're getting to be that new guy, having to go them paces. But you were in it for a while, like what, 10, 12 years?
Actually, the company I was working for, they sold 200 something workers, got laid off, and I took that time and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take this seriously, and I took slapping seriously at the time. And I mean, I'm taking it seriously right now,
Sure.
but um, that gave me the opportunity to say, hey, do I want to keep busting my ass, busting my butt to, just to feel, like I'm dying away over here.
Yep.
Um, so I I kind of went the other direction.
I was going to say too. I mean, I know you've got 6 kids. What ages are those, right? Because that's a whole difference between supporting yourself, but also supporting yourself and kids. So a lot of times, you have to just do jobs that you got to do to take care of what's there. You don't have that opportunity maybe to go chase that dream or chase that thing. How many kids did you have at the time, and how do you manage that? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, obviously the company getting sold and it kind of puts you in that position of, hey, I need to reevaluate life. But I mean, if you got kids at that point, there's a lot of pressure around that too.
Right. And a lot of my sponsors were actually helping me out, on the daily. And my oldest daughter, she's 15. Um and I got one under her is 13, and then I got all boys after that. My oldest boy is 7. Um and I got a 6-year old, a 2-year old, and one still in diapers.
Oh, so you kind of went in spurts, old boy.
Yeah,
A 1, 2. All right, let's take a little time. 6, 7. Take a little time. 13, 15. There we go.
that's how it went. Actually,
Yeah.
the first one was always like, "Oh, oops,"
Yeah.
The second one said, I said, "Man, you know what? You need a friend.
I love it. And you got back to saying, your sponsors were really, really helpful. And one thing I got to say about that is, and I've always tried to be this way too, is I always try to think about those brands early on that one. And I've told the story a couple of times with like the first two barbecue brands that ever sponsored me. When I opened my store, it was the first two POs I cut. You know what I mean? Like, so as you're getting this bigger spotlight put on yourself, those are the guys that you're like, man, I want to bring along with me. You know what I mean? Because you wanted part of this before no one else did. You know what I mean? And
Right.
and guess that what now that the spotlight's getting bigger, I'm gonna make sure it gets bigger on you too. Do you mind sharing who a couple of those brands and folks were? Because I mean, we'd like to shine some light on them.
Derm Dude was there for me. Derm Dude was there for me from the beginning. Before I went into Power Slap, and he supported me throughout my way. And a lot of Hawaii companies, Get Nuts, Hawaii Wear, all the crazy clothes that I wear, it's all out of Hawaii. I'm trying to support people that have a small business in Hawaii, and where I'm from. Yep. I remember this guy. I remember buying shirts from this dude at a storage unit, and now he has his own store.
That's so awesome.
And I like seeing that come up for my people. And Bang for Bang Fightwear, it's another fight gear. Game Day is another cannabis brand. I obviously partake, and I love to do it now that I'm not in the union. So
probably helps a little bit of that jaw pain after a good match too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Dermafreeze is actually a topical. It's like an icy hot and cannabis infused, but some of the best pain relief for a topical I've ever experienced in my life. It's almost a last resort for me. It's like, man, what do I do? Oh shoot, Dermafreeze. Then I just have my wife rub it on wherever I need the pain to be relieved at, and it absolutely does the job every single time. So Dermafreeze, Derm Dude. I mean, we're setting a trend.
Yes, I see it. I see it.
But yeah, they all allowed me to be where I'm at today. They all allowed me to be the Crazy Hawaiian. Truly, I wasn't sure if this was gonna be a career for me at one point, and then I had to choose construction over. I like to do things 100%. So when I got the opportunity to be this, I did take it very seriously, and I took every precaution that I needed to take to become where the person that I am today, the super heavyweight champion. It's not just like something that just happened,
right?
I really worked hard for this.
Where when you said you almost weren't where you were at today, would you say most of that came from a just self-doubt point of view, or where do you think where were those concerns at, or just will this thing even take off? I mean, you have no idea that the sport's going to morph the way it does. It could have just stayed kind of like a back room YouTube, almost like backyard wrestling type of thing, and never grown.
Right. And this is where I put my faith in God, and I just trusted Him, because when I started, it was that backyard thing, it was that spectacle, it was a circus, and in some promotions it still is, So what I did was I separated myself from the individual that actually participates in slapping. I separated myself fully. I looked for investors. I created a name. I created rules. These are the things that a lot of guys that are doing it today don't understand. I've done everything that a pioneer should do to create this to be a sport. I remember before I talked to Dana White, I talked to my brother and the Hawaiian Hitman. And I told him, bro, what do you think about this? He's like, bro, this is going to go crazy. And I said, so you feel it the way I feel it? Because Dana White's going to call me one day. And I was just talking shit. You know, I was just talking shit. It wasn't like I knew he was gonna go do this. It was just
Right.
like I say it out loud. You know, I give it to God.
Manifest.
Yeah, I manifested, and sure enough, it wasn't Dana White at first. It was one of his producers, and that's when I was like, wow,
Oh shit.
this can be a thing. This is really going to be a thing. I went, and I did anything that they wanted me to do. That's what I did.
Well, and I think even stepping back a little bit further and kind of looking at that evolution of, once again, it's kind of that blue collar mentality. So I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong here, you got introduced to slap through just a YouTube video. I believe it was Dumpling, right?
Yeah, my next opponent in the UAE.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just crazy to me. Like,
And you guys have never competed against each other before, right?
No.
Yeah, that's literally the guy that brought you in the game, or opened your eyes to the game, I should say.
Yeah.
You now get to square off with, and oh, by the way, in Abu Dhabi, you know what I mean? Like, did you ever think as a Hawaiian you'd be going to Abu Dhabi to perform, bro? Come on.
It's mind blowing to me. It's mind blowing how this is real. This is as real as you can put it. If you explain to some creature that's not from this world, even people that don't even see the sport, they think we're crazy. They think we're crazy. They think we're just absolutely nuts out of our head. But you have to be there, because you can sit back and watch it on the screen and have your own little conversation in your head about how ridiculous this looks. But if you're not there and you don't experience it firsthand, you have no idea the magnitude, the attention span. You could put somebody with ADHD in there and he'll pay attention.
Yeah.
Because he knows when the hit is coming. He knows when to expect it. And if you don't get knocked out, hey, now it's your turn to get knocked out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's such a eye-catching and such a magnet to attention that you have to be there to really understand the growth of the sport.
Well, and I think the beauty of it too is, we have now gotten trained, since we're such a screen world, right? Like we want everything in 5, 10, 30, 60-second snippets.
Right.
And this is a sport that operates that way. If you think of it, it's almost like a scroll, right? 1, 2, boom. Okay. Now that stopped. Scroll to the next one, right? You said, it kind of follows that cadence a little bit. And I think that's another reason, one, it's fucking awesome to watch, but two, the way it works like that, I just think it fits people's mentality of wanting that instant gratification. I think that's why baseball has had such a problem. Is it's hard for people that's why they have to speed the game up, right? It's hard for somebody to get interested to sit down for 3 hours. That's just not the way people are programmed these days.
I mean, it's crazy that baseball is still just to be honest. I went to a baseball game and it was amazing because of the whole, the wave of the whole crowd. And it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. But for me to go back, I was just like, I have to probably know somebody on the field to actually go back and support that. It's crazy. But it's not the same for people that watch slap. People want to come back,
Yeah, and before Power Slap too, when you're kind of to me, what I saw kind of some similarities in between when I was kind of preparing for our discussion is you went out after seeing Dumpling not too long, and hell, let's go do it, right? So I'm taking it this was probably just some independent guy that was holding together some competition or a tournament, or how did you end up getting that first humdinger of a friggin' match that we'll talk about here in a minute?
You're talking about the Polish dude?
Yes. Oh no, the hillbilly hippie, that match.
Oh, okay.
I'm going way back, bro.
Oh, way back. So hillbilly hippie was the first one I've ever done.
And so, like, how do you find it? Like, how did you know to show up there? Or had you been reaching out to somebody online, or like, how does that all come up?
I was actually running a mill machine. And when you got the mill machine down, you really don't need to you just have to steer it, really.
Yeah.
So I was on there, and obviously I was the younger generation. I was on my phone. I know Tim was like, "Hey, get off your phone! Get off your phone!" I was like looking at it like that. But I saw an ad, and it literally, and this was before, this was, I already saw Dumpling. I already watched him, and I told my wife, I said, if I get a chance, I want to get this. This is the guy that I want to go up against. And I just said it, out loud to my wife, and I went on, and I went to work. So I saw this ad that literally said, "So you think you can slap?" And I was like, "Yeah, actually." So I clicked on the ad. And it was the very next day. It was a Thursday. It was the very next day, Friday, a slap competition at this bar. So I looked at the location, and it was 40 minutes from me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I told the wife, I said, "You want to go to a bar?" And she was like, "Bar? Because we don't really go to bars. We just kind of grab our beers and drinks and come home. We're homebodies." So she was like, "All right. I mean, I guess this is different." So on our way there, I told her, I said, "Hey, this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do." And
you made her get committed. You made her get in the vehicle, boy. Before
you got all dressed up. You got makeup on. All right, let's go. This is what's happening.
Proud sponsor of the show, Trollco Clothing. Love what the brand's about. It's all about supporting that blue-collar worker. You know them for their trademark shirt and hat, dirty hands, clean money. It's not just a slogan. It is a lifestyle. Go visit trollcoclothing.com and use my discount code, OldBoyPodcast, for 15% off.
So God said another thing, because when I showed up, the first time I showed up, my opponent didn't show up. There was nobody that wanted to go up against me. When I walked in the building, everybody's like, "Oh, are you gonna do it?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it with whoever. It doesn't matter." I didn't know who my opponent was. Apparently, my opponent didn't show up. So I was like, "Man," so I had to just sit there and watch it. And I went home, and I think it was a week, if not 2 weeks later, the same exact bar, same exact people, but I actually had an opponent this time. And mind you, this opponent went out and looked me up on Facebook, right? Mm-hmm. Before the fight, a few days before the fight, and he started talking crap. So I was like, all right, he doesn't know me, I don't know him, so let's talk crap. So we started talking crap. Our wives got into it.
Oh shit!
And my wife told his wife that she's got a mustache. It was crazy. It went wild. So when I got there to compete against the Hillbilly Hippie, it was in a promotion called Slap Fight Championship, run by JT Tilley. And he's given a lot of people starts in slapping career. When I got there, the tension was real. The tension was so real. They were up, on the balcony. I was down, and it was middle fingers being thrown, F-bombs being thrown. I was just sitting next to the pool tables at a bar. I had a couple drinks, and the guy that announces the fights actually came up to me, and I didn't even think about this previously. He said, "Man, this is crazy," and it stuck with me. And he was like, "Hey, what do you want me to announce you coming out as? What you want your stage name to be?" And I was like, "Man, I'm Hawaiian. I want something to do with Hawaiian." And I remember him telling me, "This is crazy." So right there, it just kind of rolled off my tongue, The Crazy Hawaiian. And he was like, "The Crazy Hawaiian." I was like, "Yeah." And that was the beginning of just a crazy career in slapping, and that was right before COVID. I mean, I'm talking about COVID was announced a week later.
Damn.
Yeah. So I went that Hillbilly fight. It was, I want to rematch him, but he doesn't want to go up against me for nothing, because we did not get paid for that.
Yeah. Yeah, and you guys went, what, like something crazy, right? Like 21 rounds?
21 rounds, and I knocked him into the crowd in the 6th round. and they gave him a good minute to recover. A good minute to
Golly.
recover. And I thought I won after the 6th round, and then boom, homeboy stood up there and we went to war. I couldn't knock him down or out after that. He just kind of quit in the 21st round, and I don't blame him.
What did the punishment on his face look like?
Oh, dude, I actually have pictures of it, but it's kind of crazy that from that fight it went viral. Like, I'm talking about within a span of a few months, the whole world went crazy. I'm talking about
because now you've got everybody sitting at home and you've got this just ridiculous match. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I'm thinking back, like, how didn't that shit pop up in my feed during COVID, bro? Because I mean, maybe I had too much Joe Exotic in my feed. I don't know. I'd have much rather watch this than damn Tiger King. Come on.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, bro. When I'm bored and I don't know what to put on, Tiger King is putting on, because I love the guy. His music is fire. I love
look, man, it's just that good mindless fun. You know what I mean? Like you can turn it on and maybe you've gotten into some of that cannabis sponsor, stuff, and you're like, you know what? I just want to have a little, free and easy. You turn on Joe, he's full of laughs. It's good.
Dude. You never know.
And we're both guys that like to dress a little different. So is he, old boy. So is he.
You know what is my favorite is when I get guests over and they've never seen the Tiger King. I'm like, boom.
You're like, what did you do throughout COVID, man?
Where were you? Where the hell were you? The COVID King right here. But it was it projected where I am today.
Yeah.
And I took full advantage of every single opportunity. Still to this day, I'm kind of a yes man. If you got something going on, I regret every opportunity that I don't take. You know. So now it's almost like, hey, if you got something for me, let's do it. Let's try it.
Well, I think that's part of also being kind of self-made. Is you're always, I always tell people, like, it's every little opportunity that we've taken that's got us here. And then it's like, man, you just don't want to get so busy that you say no to something that could have really taken it to that next level, and you never know because you never experience it, right? So there's always that little bit of fear, doubt, and uncertainty. And I mean, the only way that I know to manage it, these days is just really stepping back and looking. You only have so much time, right? And just seeing what's the best fit. And then also, like, is this people you want to work with? Is this, you know what I mean? Like, making those kind of decisions, because that is, one thing that's nicer is as more opportunities come up, you really kind of get to start to pick and choose the people that you want to work with. And, because you match or you complement each other. You know what I'm saying? Like those kind of things.
Yeah. That's one thing too. Like, being the pioneer that I am, I wanted to get a manager, get an agent, get all these people under, just to see if I truly need it, if the sport truly needs it. If someone that comes after me, comes in blindly, I can at least tell them, hey, dude, you need a manager, or you need a marketing agent, or you need something that I see that I went through that could help you too in the game. So I'm literally not doing it just like off of self gain. My brother's in it. 2 of my brothers are in it, and a few family members. So,
well, that's the part that I thought was kind of awesome. After that first fight, and then I think you fought 4 or 5 more. They were just unpaid, right? Like, hey, just going out there to continue to make a name for yourself, etc. And then I'm not gonna say you got sick of, but you said, hey, if we're gonna keep going doing this, like let's put some structure around it. You know what I mean? Let's get some rules. It reminded me a lot of, and I don't know if you're a pro wrestling fan, but I grew up being a pro wrestling fan, and I'm 14, 15 years older than you. But like back in those days, like wrestling was very territorial, right? Like you had a Texas wrestling, you had a Florida wrestling. To me, you were one of those. There wasn't many territories because Slap's new, but like you kind of created that Slap regional, thing, right? And to me, that's where like That's true pioneer shit, like you said. Like, because at that point now you start getting family involved, you start getting friends involved, you start putting rules around it, you start thinking about, not just what's going to be viral, but also, man, we got to take care of each other. You know what I mean? We got to
Yeah.
have some longevity in this. We can't just beat the shit out of each other 10 times and be done. You know what I mean? Like, was that, and that just had to be kind of from your gut, right? Like, I love this, I see potential in it. Now I'm going to start putting pieces together. Did I do
Right.
all right there?
No, that's like as perfect as you can explain it from outside looking in. I really felt bad. I felt bad for the boys that were, doing it before me, that were already champions, that were taking off of work, that were traveling on
Mm-hmm.
their own dime. And I was thinking, let's at least be able to cover the day you took off, the travel expense, and if you need a place to stay, let's
Mm-hmm.
cover that too. But the person that I was working with in the at the beginning, um, obviously when people see money that they never saw before, you start acting a little greedy. So, we're not gonna get into all that crazy
No.
stuff, but it's the same as any other sport. You're gonna come and you're gonna have to deal with some some people you don't want to deal with.
Yep.
And I've dealt with almost every single person. I don't think there's anyone else that I have not dealt with in the slap game personally. Um, and I either don't talk to them today because they just didn't wasn't a good fit for me, or they screwed me over big time.
Yep.
And I'm willing to take that lick, if no one else has to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm the guy that's trying to break all barriers and truly make this a real sport, because a lot of people don't see it. I don't really pay attention to it much anymore, but I used to go up in the comments and I used to go and reply, and then it was just taking too much so out of my time. And you know what? I said I'm gonna stop doing this and do more of this, which was perform more,
Mm-hmm.
um, get this to where it's an actual, like, crowd drawing thing. You want people to just be like, wow, look at this thing. And it's not just people slapping, it's characters being built. It's the Godzilla and Kong of the era right now. And I know in the future people are going to get paid a lot more. I'm not worried about that part, but I do have 6 kids, and for me to be paving the way and taking all these licks, I know God has a plan for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm willing to keep on keeping on, and whatever happens for me. I just don't want to waste any opportunities, and I don't want to, go into the next day thinking, man, I should have done that, or I should have done this. So I'm doing everything that I need to do. I'm doing everything possible that I need to do. Not only just podcasts. I mean, just everything, all of the above.
Yep.
I'm willing to try it once, and if it don't work, it don't work.
Yep.
But right now, the way the sport is formed, I'm gonna just say, there's not a competitor that is doing this today that has done the things that I've done. I'm talking about, I've helped more than 5 promotions in slap, get started, giving them the rules, giving them roster, people to actually go up there and do it. Um, and I didn't want nothing in return. All I wanted was the growth of the sport. I just
Mm-hmm.
wanted to see everyone else get paid. Because when I started, it was people that really needed the money, but also wanted the fame as well.
Yep.
But they really needed the money more than they needed the fame.
Mm-hmm.
And I do it still to today, for those guys that really, hit a spot in my heart. When we talked about, hey, what do you guys supposed, the day of the fight, I would talk, grab these guys and kind of talk to them. Hey, what's going on? How's everyone doing? How you guys feeling? Are you guys up to for this? Are you, like, what do you want out of this?
Yep.
And I was already kind of, scouting out who wants to do this as much as I want to do this. And I know that Russia and Poland and all these other guys, South Africa, they're already just starting to get to it. So my whole thing in the beginning was to create a USA team, and that was like for I'd say a year and a half. It was just strictly my goal. I was trying to find the best guys in the US to do it, and in different weight classes too.
Mhm.
Um, and then boom, I got that call from Dana White, and I called my mom. I was in tears. I cried. I was thinking, man, this is it. You know, this is the beginning.
So, how did that call go?
Um, at first, I was giving them everything. I was giving them everything that I had, roster, rules, and everything like that.
So did he pretty much call you and say, "Hey, I'm getting into or creating this league or this thing. I love what you've been doing. Like, we want to work together."
Yeah, that's exactly how it went.
And that obviously is because you pretty much were the best organized. He could tell the desire and the passion was real. It was coming from a betterment of the sport place, not just a look at me type of deal. And you were the first one that had set rules and things like that, right? So he kind of looked at it as working with you gives him a jump start. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, and I felt like that was the best decision that they could have made. Um, you know, although I decided to work with them, and then the Paul brothers, Jake Paul and Logan Paul, they also saw the potential, but I don't think they were in it for the long run.
And let me tell you this, man. Like, if you have to pick, and don't get me wrong, it's not a bad spot to be in to have to pick between those two entities. But look, man, one of those guys was a fucking boxer out of Boston that don't give a fuck and will tear down every wall he needs to. These two other guys made fucking silly videos when they were 11 years old.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like Dana's just got that dog in him, bro. You know what I mean? Like
I learned the hard way.
Even as a billionaire or multimillionaire, however fucking rich he is, he's still got that dog. He still wants to just build shit that nobody's ever built before.
Right. And I learned that the hard way. A lot of people think that, they called me and I went up in there. I learned it the hard way because the devil said, no, we ain't going with God's plans, because the Paul brothers actually, made me an offer I could not refuse.
And I bet the first thing you thought about was family, right? Those kids and what that is, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the money that they were offering, I was like, man, this is life-changing money. And then I went and I did one show with these guys, one show. And that was when I lost. That one I lost.
But you lost technically, but like there was some shit there that was pretty damn shady.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, you can watch that and you'll know. So, my whole thing is after I beat the dumpling, I'm gonna call that dude out, because the dumpling lost to the same dude. Me and the dumpling only have one loss, and it's to the same guy.
And it's that Polish guy, right?
And it's a Polish guy. And I don't know if he would be able to pass a physical or a drug test or what. I don't care. I just need to make it known that that's a fight that I want to call him out, and prolong this train, that, because this is a legacy right here. This is a legacy fight for me. And the next one after that is going to be another one too. So who knows what is in store for me and the sport. But I learned the hard way, because when Dana White said, "Hey, welcome to the team," I went this way. They said the Paul brothers said, "Hey, take this little money out," and I went that way, and I kind of left these guys hanging for a year. I prolonged the whole sport, and I also gave them another option. I said, "Hey, the Wolverine and this other kid, they're pretty good. They're at the top of the game in the U.S. right now, and it was in the heavyweight division." So in Power Step 1, I was there in the crowd, just making my presence known. You
Mhm.
know, I was at every single Power Slap event, even if I wasn't in the event.
How does that discussion go with Dana after you took the after that year and you took that deal with the Pauls and then you were
They promised me the whole world. You know, so when I lost, it was kind of like, man, they kind of put me on the side, put me on the shelf, and I didn't get a fight for over a year. And so Power Slap was just getting started. I was still working under, another entity, and my brother got this viral knockout, and then he got suspended. So in that suspension time, the world wanted more of the Hawaiians. So what better way to bust into the scene while my brother's on a suspension, to bust into the scene and actually take what's rightfully mine, you know?
ah
So
so little brother opened the door kind of back into there.
yeah,
Oh,
so what I gave, my
right.
brother, I had my own promotion.
Yep.
I had my own investors. They were giving me 50,000 a show, and that was enough for me to put on shows in Texas, Cali,
Mhm.
Mexico, Miami, all these places. I was putting shows up at, and people weren't realizing it was me, because I didn't go up in there and say, "Oh, I'm doing this. This is me." I made it seem like it was a big business.
Right,
I made it
exactly.
seem like I was just a competitor.
Yep.
But in the back, everything is in the back of my head. I'm putting all this together.
Yep.
When that was slowing down, and I was like, you know what? I found an investor to actually. He offered the dumpling 50 grand. He said that was not enough. So, and I'm glad, because I would have done it. I would have done it back then at that
Mhm.
time. For that amount of money, I would have done it. And it would have been done already. People would have been seeing it already, and it would have died off by now.
Mhm.
But I'm glad that I did not. He did not take the fight. He literally said it was not enough money, and I was like, cool. Uh, you know, then my brother got suspended, and then I kind of slipped into getting into Power Slap officially, and I went up against my best friend, one of my best friends that I brought into the slap game.
Mhm.
Because there was no one else. Um, in the U.S., there's still kind of is no one else. They have to get people from outside already. Um, but I consider myself now humbly and respectfully the best in the U.S.
I
You know,
I would say the 14-1 record. It's hard to disagree with that.
yeah, it's I don't know if why didn't it like upgrade it, but it's 16-1 right now.
Hey, whoever's damn webmaster over there,
Hey, you better
Power
get
Slap,
you
get your
better get your
shit
stuff
together.
together.
Well, it said 12 knockouts, so I'm going to take it. It's 14 knockouts.
Yeah, it's 14 knockouts. It's 16-1. So and I want to be. I want all the biggest and the baddest boys.
Yeah,
Give me the big boys. Like I don't.
you ain't bottom feeding. You're trying to go up with every knockout, every
Right.
win.
So the last one was actually a real athlete. A lot of people don't understand. Just because he gained weight for me, he literally gained weight so I can, we can be at the same kind of weight level.
Mhm.
When I went up against him, a lot of people don't understand. This is a world champion kickboxer, boxer. This was an athlete.
Yeah,
You know, and I'm so happy that they got someone that is that size and to be a real athlete with real credentials.
yeah,
Because now it's like, wow, I'm knocking guys out that have real fight combat credentials, and this is not just a spectacle. Now we got something technical. Now we got something that we can take around the world and show everyone else.
hmm
You know, fighting is cool and all, but statistic wise, one round I get one slap. If I flinch, I get two.
yeah.
Now you look at boxing, MMA, or anything like that. You get unanswered elbows to the head. There's so much things that can happen
Yep.
with your whole body. But this is something that I know I really truly feel like, after getting slapped in the head that much times, I don't feel like obviously long term effects are gonna take place long term, but I really do truly feel like I can be in this sport till my physical body can't swing no more.
Yeah, yeah, because yes, you are getting taxed, but it's such a smaller part of your body than any other sport. You know what I mean? Like, I totally get that. Proud sponsor of the show, Old Boy Apparel. When myself and Tim Montana started building this brand several years ago, we just wanted something that brought together all those people with that hard work ethic, that grit. Whether you be a musician, whether you're slinging barbecue, or just one of those blue-collar trades folks, we got an opportunity to partner up with Trollco, and we are really, really enjoying it. Go check out the apparel at trollcoclothing.com. Search Old Boy Apparel. And feel free to use my discount code OldBoyPodcast for 15% off.
And if you work out that one part of your body, however you do work it out,
that's one of the questions I had is what do workouts look like to get ready for this type of sport? Like,
I mean,
what are you training? I'm like how are you training?
Just eat.
But no, like you gotta work on. I gotta think like forearm, like. I don't know, like just eat, huh? Shit, this is my kind of sport, old boy.
So when I talk about me getting ready for a match, it's really strategic for me. I don't give away a lot.
Yeah.
I make people think that I'm not training. I make people think that I'm not doing nothing. But deep down, like I wake up, I read the Bible, get my coffee, and I'm in my garage. And my garage is every single thing that I need.
Mm-hmm.
From weights to agility to anything that I need.
Yeah.
Because I have my kids with me, so I don't really want to leave the house too long.
Yeah.
And my kids is in there with me.
Well, and you already said you're a homebody. If you can train and do all your stuff there at the crib, like that's and two, there's something about that's the house you're trying to support through that training. You know what I mean? Like there's love and there's love in that garage. You know what I mean? That's special too.
Yeah. And that's all my kids know, like when they hear me in there, I am the Crazy Hawaiian when I need to turn it on.
Yeah.
But when they hear me in there, they already know. No one bothers me. No one say, hey, they come, hey Dad, it's time to eat.
Yeah.
But other than that, no one's asking me questions. They know why I'm doing what I'm doing. A lot of people ask me how I train. So now I offer training classes.
Good.
For slap specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I can say I've done a few big names as well. John Dodson's wife that she's going up against some big name too. So I'm not only training men, I'm training women. Of anyone that wants to learn, I'm doing online classes. That's
a great idea, especially with it being such a new sport and there's going to be so many people wanting to get into it.
Yeah.
What a great way to be that guy. You know what I mean?
I have to be. There's only so much people that know actually how to do what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And even the guys that do know how to do what I'm doing, I feel like in my experience, in the beginning when I was getting knockouts, I didn't realize what I was doing. I didn't understand what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought, wow, I did that,
Yeah.
And then I had to watch myself back consistently over and over again to really and put a regimen together and say, okay, this is what needs to happen. Yeah, I'm naturally gifted at doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the other people that are not and they want to come up and do this? Because a lot of people can't fight, but they learn how to fight, and then they end up being fighters. You know what I mean? So, anyone that does want to learn, I'm here. I'm easily accessible to Crazy Hawaiian anywhere. You can reach out to me. But the sport will not stop growing. And that's one thing I preach to everybody. We're so used to combat sports. We're so used to MMA. We're so used to boxing that when we listen to the people that are talking about it, they're talking technical. They're talking technical skill, what it requires to be the best. This wasn't a talk when MMA was in the beginning. People were like, "Whoa, it's a big knockout." and now people have film, people have things to study, and that's where I'm at. I'm giving people things to study.
I
You
love
know,
it. I
so
love it.
it. I know for a fact that this sport won't go nowhere. It will just keep on growing. I
Hmm.
mean, it's the fastest growing thing in anywhere right now. You know what I mean? Unless
Oh, it's wild, man. Like I ain't gonna lie to you. I just flew home from Salt Lake City yesterday, and not just because I was gonna have a discussion with you today. Yeah, I played Power Slap. That fucking game, that app, dude. Every time I get into it, bro, it's a 45 minute. For 45 minutes to an hour. I was getting pissed because I fly Southwest all the time, and their Wi-Fi is known to be half-ass at best. And it's one of those apps, man. You got to be connected to play, right? I mean, unless I can cash my shit in, I don't. I'm ready to move up, bro.
yeah,
And so like I'm sitting there and I was flight attendant. I was like, man, do you know if they're gonna reset to Wi-Fi? She said, oh, let me go ask you. Are you working on something? I'm like, yeah, it's something very important. Trying to level up, girl. I'm trying to level up. I'm trying to get to Philly. Come on.
yo,
But that's also just another genius marketing way, right? Like, besides seeing the social clips, that app's probably the most time I've spent with Power Slap, to be honest.
yeah. It's
So speaking of that, that's a great segue into you are going to be our guinea pig on something, if you don't mind. New little word association game that we're going to do.
let's go.
I'm gonna give you a name, and you don't, if it's one word, 2 words, 3 words, but just kind of rapid fire. First thing to come to mind.
All right, let's go.
Dana White.
East.
Dumpling.
Hungry.
Mike Tyson.
Spinal.
Matt Rife.
Oh man, pretty boy.
Floyd Mayweather.
The GOAT.
Ngannou. Francis.
Ugly.
Jake Paul.
Wonder boy. Wonder boy.
And we'll wrap it up with Rampage Jackson.
Crazy motherfucker.
Oh, that's funny. That was good. I'm glad. That's going to move on to the next episode, too. I had fun with that.
Yeah, that was good.
One of the other things I wanted to do before we wrap up here is we've obviously got, once again, let's just kind of recap the whole card that we've got coming up in Abu Dhabi. Obviously, you and Dumpling sitting at the top of it for the super heavyweight championship. What do we have under that to get us started, and where do people go to watch?
I believe Rumble that
Okay.
they're gonna be streaming that live. I mean, Rumble's got everything Power Step right now, and YouTube.
So right now, if I just signed up for a Rumble account, I could go on there and I could watch every Power Slap paper, if I really want to get up to speed and immerse myself, that's the place to go.
Yeah, and they post in Rumble first, and then they post on YouTube and everywhere else. I think it generates in Rumble. So it just type in a Power Slap, and then you're gonna see every single fight, every single little promotion that they pulled out, every promotion about any other fights, and even specific fights too that you want to watch. If you find somebody that you like, you can scroll down and you can see every one of their fights. So Rumble, man, live and free on Rumble right now. Rumble's doing a good job, but I want pay-per-view stuff going on, soon. Soon. It's a little early in the sport, and that's cool and all. But if there was one pay-per-view fight, I think this would have been the one. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think too, the man that built pay-per-view and made it what it is behind this. So I think the fact it hasn't yet is kind of like you said, just a little early, but hopefully by the time we've got that thing to about 25-1, maybe not that far, maybe 20-1, we'll have that first pay-per-view. The whole sport will be ready to go. Now, that is one question I had for you too, is how, obviously with MMA champions, they, they in a good year will fight 3 times a year. Most of the time they'll fight twice a year. Like you guys are able, because the recovery is so much quicker. I mean, for you, how many matches have you? Am I right using match or fight? What's the right term? Fight.
I would say strike. I would say bout.
Bout. So for you, like, how many bouts do you feel like's okay for a year? Like, you feel like you're not, putting too much long term, beat on your body.
Honestly, if it was my choice, I would do one a month. If it was my choice, I heal up really fast, maybe like
Hmm.
2 weeks, and now I'll be fully healed. Um, but right now it's like every 3 months
Okay.
that they have a power slap out. But honestly, I'm thinking because it's such a new sport, there's not a lot of people that can keep rotating in and out. You know, I think that with the show, I don't know if you watched the Road to the Title.
Yep.
Um, so that is also being building a lot more in the roster wise. And I think for the next, at least for the next year or so, I think it's going to be just like this, where we're just building rosters, building characters, building marketable people that we can actually go out and say, "Hey, you want to see this guy get slapped, or did see this guy knock someone out?"
Yeah.
Um, we're at the again, we're at the baby stages, so
But it's crazy to see those, some of the celebrities and some of the people that are showing up at the bouts. You know what I mean? Like it's getting that super cool factor, which I think it's just one of those, keep doing the right things and be patient, right? Like it's
right,
gonna grow, and like you said, that roster growing is a huge part of it, because as we know, the more personalities that get to develop, it's just going to draw more people in.
yeah.
So it's got to be cool, especially as the true pioneer of this thing, to kind of watch it all evolve, but at the same time, like, hold your reins back a little bit. You know what I mean, too? Like,
Yeah.
all right, we can't run that fast yet, but we're gonna get there.
See, you know the process because it's more like just being patient because
Yeah.
a lot of these guys that are just coming in and they get a fight and now they have to stay home for a little bit
Yep.
and they don't have the sponsorships and they don't have the backing that they should have. Those are the guys I'm trying to help out because in order to make this a sport, a real sport, a lot of these UFC guys that are in the top 10, most of them don't have a real job.
Yeah.
They do, full time MMA, and for that, it's not impossible for the power stop guys to be that. It
Yeah.
really is not, and I stand by that. Right now, currently, I am not working and I'm doing power stat full time, and it's mind boggling. That this is possible.
Yep.
But it is possible, and for all the things that are impossible, man, I don't even think about it. You know, all the impossible things when I tell people my dreams, it's got to be a very special person, because when I used to tell people my dreams, they had something to say, they had doubts, they had their own little insecurities that they didn't want. Oh wow, what if this and what if that?
Hmm.
And I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy to focus on what if not. You know, I'm that guy to say, okay, let's do this and let's try it out. If it doesn't work, then we learn from it. We learn. And that's where I try to just spread that kind of vibrations to other people because you don't want to be held back. You
I,
know.
I I always say, you only take one trip around this world, and last thing you want to do is for them to lay you down in that casket with a whole belly full of regrets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get out there and figure out if can you make it happen or not. And guess what? If you can't, you can easily back up and regroup and find something else.
Oh
So
yeah.
I
100%.
completely agree with you. Two last quick little things.
Yeah.
Is there a traditional pre-bout meal that you like?
Man, you know what? I wish I can eat the way I want to eat before the fights, but I actually don't. I eat. It's almost like the after.
Yeah,
I eat
Okay.
a lot of stuff after.
Yeah.
Um, Hawaiian barbecue is one of my favorite. I mean, just a
Yeah.
mixed plate, any kind of Hawaiian
Yeah.
barbecue. Um, um, the Korean places do Hawaiian barbecues really well.
Yes.
Um, and I like that sweet Hawaiian, sweet barbecue kind of stuff. And that's me. I like a ribeye. I like a brisket. Like I like burnt ends.
Oh my
Like
God.
I
Come
really
on,
like.
let's go.
Is that what
That's
is that what you do?
that's what I do. Yeah.
Oh, dude. Hey, where you out at? Where you out at right
I'm
now?
in Florida, but I travel all the time. So we'll have to see next time. Where, you know what? Maybe I'll find not an Abu Dhabi, but maybe I'll find a power slap that you're gonna be at, and I can go watch my first power slap, and we can get you fed up some proper World Championship barbecue.
There you go. I'm a sucker. I got a smoker and a barbecue grill, but
Yes.
I'm still trying to perfect my brisket. So
Well, I'll make sure we trade numbers after this too, man.
oh
You
yeah,
got a guy you can reach out to anytime on the smoked meat side. I got to tell you a quick, funny Hawaiian food story. So I get a call like last October, and it's like, hey man, Chad, you think you got this date open in November? We're gonna cook for Tua wants us to come down and cook for the Dolphins before the game, like the day before. I thought, man, I love my dad's a big Dolphins fan, so I'm like, how cool, man. My dad will get to go check it out, and so end up talking to Tua and his agent. I'm like, man, what do you want me to do? He's like, Chad, man, I'd love for you to do some Hawaiian barbecue, and I'm like, man, I kept it calm, old boy, but I've done a lot of American barbecue. I ain't done a lot of Hawaiian barbecue. So I started working on it, and I started working on making sure I had my rice perfect, and I did like the kahula pork, like flew in the pink salt, the whole 9 yards, man. I tried to do it wrapped in banana leaves, like went authentic, bro. And man, he got done with that plate, and he came over and he goes, "Oh, and my mac salad, bro, my mac salad was dialed." I found out the key to that, at least to me, that Hawaiian mac salad is to you can't get too mayo-y. So I went like light mayo and let it kind of sink in for a sec, and then just a touch more. But man, he came up and he looked around and said, "My mama's not close, is she?" I said, "No." He said, "I put that macaroni salad against hers." I'm like, "Oh, hey, take me now if you need to, Lord." I don't know that I'll ever cook Hawaiian barbecue again. I may call that thing one and done, son.
yeah. I mean, I'm 34 now, but my whole life I've been eating mashed salad. I didn't know how to like really truly make it.
Yeah.
The best thing to do is after you make it,
Mm-hmm.
put it in a Ziploc bag. I used to not. I used to put it in a bowl and just put the bowl in, and then the mayo would just disappear.
You know, and it's funny. It was not intentional. That's actually how I stored mine because my Yeti was starting to get full. And so I'm like, man, how am I going to get this mac salad here? And I'm like, look, it's the one thing I can put in a large, like 2-gallon Ziploc. So I had like, 6 2-gallon Ziplocs, but that's actually how I stored it for the day it traveled down. Man, I was doing right and didn't even know it. Hey, and the last thing, and thank you so much for the time and the discussion today, man. This has been awesome. Socials or anywhere else where everybody can follow you, and obviously we want everybody to go over there on Rumble and check out the fight, the bout, October 24th, correct?
Yep, October 24th in Abu Dhabi, and it'll be the first time this Hawaiian has gone to the UAE. You can find me anywhere. The Crazy Hawaiian, anywhere. I got it trademarked. There shouldn't be another the Crazy Hawaiian anywhere.
If something go get slapped. If something go get slapped, son.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get slapped for this name. That's all I'm saying.
Man, that is so awesome, and we definitely look forward to following along with that. Are you pretty good on your socials? Like, since this is your first trip over there, are you going to try to really kind of like share the process, the trip over, and all that stuff?
Yeah, I have to, because this is going to be a weird one for me, because you can't drink, you can't smoke, you can't do nothing crazy. So that part of it, I'm going to be, vlogging, and I'm going to be posting on my socials. So if you guys want to, have a first look at what the Crazy Hawaiian's doing up in Abu Dhabi, then stay tuned. Mostly Instagram, the crazy DA_crazy_Hawaiian. The one and only RSAP Super Heavyweight Champion, baby.
That's right. And hey, champ, we're looking forward to you defending and moving on to the next one. And hey, Layne, thanks so much for your time, brother. And for you guys out there, man, what another banger. I hope you guys enjoyed this discussion as much as I did, and take care till next time.
Old Boy Podcast. We out, baby. Let's go.
That's right. Thank you so much for listening to the Old Boy Podcast. Please subscribe, like, set your notifications, whatever you got to do to make sure you're getting the latest episodes. Also, feel free to go back, whether it be YouTube, Spotify, Apple, get some of the past episodes, check those out, and always feel free to check out our socials, Old Boy Podcast. Thank you so much.